Kelly Speechless Show, and I think that just got cut off right there. So this is Kelly, the Kelly Speechless Show, and you can go to my website, kellyspeechless.com, or email me, kelly@kellyspeechless.com. And today, we are talking about the friend zone. Everybody's afraid of it. Everybody thinks they're in it. Guys, you're feeling the heat. I know, because I have a lot of clients right now who are like, no, you don't understand. If I would have gotten out of the friend zone... Okay. First of all, the friend zone doesn't exist, number one. Number two, don't worry. All of you who are convinced out there that the friend zone does exist, we're going to get you out of there, okay? So I'm not going to leave you stranded or in, this mud pit where, somebody gets you out and you run back in and then you're like, get me out. We're going to fix that. But first of all, the friend zone is really not a place. Now, you can get into a more friendly zone if it already pretty much started there to begin with, just a little hint of interest. If you feel that, then the best advice that I could possibly say is get out of the where she thinks you're a friend, not the friend zone. Because friend zone is a place that once in the friend zone, the person gets grossed out and leaves completely, so you never get a chance to be in the friend zone. If I was speaking to a guy, we were just friends, and that's a relative term in that of itself, and a rarity, unless the guy or girl are interested in another sex, except if your best friend is gay and you're a girl, we get it. If your best friend, and vice versa, okay? But other than that, it's rare, the situation, and then usually one person or the other has an issue. And usually it's not the person who likes, cares, loves about the other person. It's the person who's sitting around with the knowledge of that and, just getting the, pat on her back and, recognition and, I'm the baddest bitch in the world, somebody cares. And that's usually what I like to call psycho, stupid bitch, piece of shit. Okay? But let's take it just, from the beginning. If you talk to Susie, you love Susie, like Susie, care about Susie, and Susie calls you her best friend. How long have you been best friends with Susie? I don't care how long you've known each other, meaning I knew her at the, community pool 5 years ago. How many times how long on a daily basis have you been talking to Susan? Okay? Meaning, I've been talking to Susan on the phone for more than 45 minutes, more than 3 times a week for this long. Be honest, because it's just you here. How long? Okay, let's say it's 3 months. 3 months, more than 3 times a week, I've been talking to Susan more than 45 minutes a week. Text included, okay? So, Facebook time even included, even though that's another story. But if that's the time, at least that amount of time, then Susie either knows you like her, could swear to God you do, or she knows you like her. If she doesn't, then Susie needs to drink some more coffee, or Susie needs to read a book, or get a life, or do something. But if she genuinely doesn't know, you need to tell her, I know, but it feels so weird. You know why it feels weird telling her? Number one, you're scared shitless that by telling her, she'll be like, bye-bye. Number two, the reason it feels so weird is because everybody already knows. It's like, you know, Susie knows. Susie's parents probably know. Your parents probably know. Everybody who knows you guys knows. The only people who don't know are you and Susie on a verbal pretense. Just hasn't been said yet. So, hey Susie, I like you more than a friend. We're going to break it down, okay? Really quickly. Hey Susie, I like you more than a friend. Really? Yeah. Oh, well, Eric, I just want to be your best friend. Well, Susie, I think it's kind of weird being best friends with you, even though I care about you, because I like you more than a friend. time out. You know why I said that? All mumbo-jumboed? Because it has to, all three things have to be said. If you're going to jump the gun here and do what you should do, and by the way, the best chance to get the girl is by doing this. Even if you're afraid or worried, this is the best case scenario you're going to get her. If you tell her, hey, Susie, I like you more than a friend. Awkward silence. Whatever she says, because that doesn't matter right now. You say, yeah, I just feel weird being your best friend and the guy that likes you at the same time. She says whatever she says, doesn't matter. You say, well, do you want to date me and nobody else? Yes or no? I know you're thinking that that sounds crazy. And it's so not in your voice. It's so not in anybody's voice. It's robotic, but it needs to be said. If she says, well, I mean, soon after I get, my financial stuff worked out, or soon after I figure, out how to tie my own shoes, whatever she says, if it's not yes, say, so is that yes or no? That is not rude, guys. Saying so is that a yes or no is not rude. Don't say, I need to know yes or no, though. Just say, so is that a yes or no? If she says, well, more fairyland talk, then say, so that's a no. She says, no, I'm not saying no. Say, well, then that's not saying yes. And if she says, oh, God, if she starts to cry and say, how could you do this to me, da-da-da, here is where a pen is involved. Write this down. I care about you, and if I am not in this relationship to be a friend and in it because I like you, that would be messed up for you. Write that down, and of course, use your own phrase. And don't use that, exact phrase, but basically say, don't leave the premise of, if I'm still friends with you and I like you, it's just fucked up. Fucked up for you, fucked up for me, weird all around, period. Now, you have to ask yourself, it's very important. If you got the balls up, you're ready to do this, you're sick of the bullshit, you got to be prepared for two things. First thing, if you go back to pretend we're friends thing from this, there's 25% chance she's going to go with you later on. Why? Because now she has validation. Whether she wants this validation, needs it or not, she knows that you're weak in some area. And she doesn't want you to be weak. She wants a man. It's just what it is, and I'm trying to help. Remember, I'm not on anybody's side when it comes to man or woman. Men or women. D or P. I'm really not. I know by now, being in my industry, that there's no one to blame. I used to think there was. I used to think it was all guys cheating and all women this way. I used to think it was this, that. Nope. Unfortunately, 50% against 50%. We're all nuts. It's right down the middle. Every time one side would go up, the other side would meet it in the middle. I'm afraid to say, guys, that's the truth. And I was wrong. But anyway, do you want to date me and nobody else has to be said? Do you want to date me? Anything could be said, but you saying it. Do you want to date me and nobody else? That leaves out the later problem of, do you want to date me? Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe. But I'm dating, what are you doing tonight? Oh, I'm going out with Matt. What the fuck? I thought you were dating me. Oh, well, you never said anything about us dating other people. There you go. She found a way to make it a huge mess. Okay? If she keeps you around, if you did this, and you've done this, and you've been here, and you're like, I've heard it all, bitch, I've heard this, I've done this, and she still would keep coming around. The moment I got rid of her, the moment I started feeling better, she'd come back. She's a bitch. She's conniving, she's got issues, and she's a bitch. She throws a fit when you don't do exactly what you want her to do, and she's a bitch. And the reason your sister, if you get along with her, does not know the details about her isn't because you don't want her in your business. It's because she would beat the shit out of her. Is that right? Am I promoting violence? Absolutely not. But let's just say I don't have any younger brothers, and there might be a reason for that. Because some people don't think it's cool to be when other people who are innocent are fucked with. It's just not cool. If Susie is doing that, Susie needs more than a life coach. Susie needs therapy. Lots of therapy, because it's not okay to sleep at night knowing that you're doing really fucked up shit to other people. It's just not. It's not cool. It's not cool. And there are people out there, women, men, I know we're focusing on, the guys a little bit here, but there are women out there who really, I'm sure, goes into the friendship with terms that are not, amplified into something negative or, self-consuming for her and, unfortunate for the other person. But those who know the deal and who are coming back know what it is. Why do they keep doing this? Why don't they do this? If they care, if they don't, then why do they do this? Because they're fucking crazy, and because they are messed up, and because you would never, even if you never liked this chick, pretend you never liked her. I know it's hard, but pretend you never liked her. You would never hook her up with one of your buddies or friends. Not because of the weirdness that, well, I love the girl, duh, I wouldn't. No, take that away. You wouldn't, because you don't trust her as a person, because you think she's messed up. Because it's not normal. Especially if she does this whole, well, if you piss me off, I'm going to date this guy. She needs to go, bye-bye. She doesn't love you in the way that she wants you because she's unstable. She wants to be treated like shit. If you treat her like complete dog shit, it still won't work, only maybe for monetarily, because you're not a person who derives fun, derives pleasure out of treating people like shit. That doesn't make you the nice guy. That makes you the guy who has balls. Makes you the man. Completely different thing. Oh, I'm too nice, I'm just the nice guy because I waited for her ride to get there at midnight. No, you're just not an asshole. Remember that little interlude I went off here, but remember that, guys. If she keeps coming back with her full knowing that you want it to be more than a friendship, and you reminding her each time almost, she is a bitch. She is not to be trusted. She is somebody throwing you out there and letting you get run over. Okay? She's the kind of person who sees your hurt, who can see you're hurting at her hand and is not stopping it. If she says a million times, well, look, I told you how I felt. Look, I told you. Look, I know you. She could say to herself, well, I told him. I told him he would slip if he kept going into, going in the river. There was all kinds of snakes in there. I told him. Well, you telling him that, bitch, doesn't matter. Because just because you're warning this situation doesn't make it right. If somebody was coming at me and I knew they were getting hurt every single time, but it would give me $50, I wouldn't just say, well, I warned him and count the cash. I'd be like, I'm closing this motherfucker. Goodbye, let me get away from this. I'm going to hell. But since that would probably happen because I'm a cognitively functioning person in the way of my conscience, in the way of how I feel about other people, not Mother Teresa, but I have a heart, I have feelings, I'm not Satan-esque. And I'm not, and then you go through the thing where you're about to get mad at me because you're thinking, you're defensive because that's normal too. When you're a normal person and you love somebody and you care about them, crazy as batshit they are or not, you get angry and want to defend them. That just proves even more how you're right and she's wrong. Because even though you're not counting who defends who, you would defend her. Out of natural calling, you would do it not because somebody said so or what's right or wrong. You would do it because it's ingrained to you to protect people that you care about, whether they're doing something wrong or not. The friend zone, back to the friend zone quickly. Sorry I veered off, but it's so good to know that, guys, because you really, you don't need to get fucked over either. You don't. It's not fair. Trust me, we get fucked over 50-50. all men aren't like this, all girls aren't like this, all women aren't like this. We're all fucking like this, and it just comes in another shade